Hey everyone, welcome back to Reader of the Unread. It's me, Zach, your new necromancer. That's what we're going with this week. As per usual, I'm joined by...
Trevor, the skeleton boy this time.
Oh, good. All right, there
wink,
we go.
Wink, foreshadow.
That's gross. Don't fucking tease him like that. You got to drop it on him. This week I'm going to be starting us off. I will be starting us off with an opinion piece.
Oh.
From The Guardian, so you know it's quality.
Nice.
This is written by...
like the newspaper?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's written by Tess Morgan, and the title of it is My Son's Tattoo Hurt Me Deeply.
Okay.
Put out the bunting. Crack open the beers. Stand there in the kitchen, smiling from ear to ear, because he's home. Our student son is home, and the family's together again. After supper, after washing up is done, and the others, his younger siblings, drift off to watch television, and he says, "Would you like to see my tattoo?"
Wait, what's a bunting?
I don't fucking know.
Is
Put it out. Whatever it is, put it out. Crack open
Producer
the beers.
Corey, what's a bunting?
The closest I can find is a bunting is an old world seed-eating songbird related to finches, typically with brown streaked plumage and a boldly marked head.
Oh yes, let me pet my bird as I drink this beer.
You're putting them out on display. I'm sure some listener will tell us what it is at some point.
Please.
There's another one from Urban Dictionary.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
that
probably
is
it.
That's it.
the act of pulling out your penis, pulling it out of a woman's mouth during oral sex.
Oh, it's slapping her
it
with
against
it.
her chin. Yeah.
Yeah. Like bunting in baseball.
Yeah.
So that's why there's this smile across her.
Smiling from ear to ear, cracking open beers by bunting. Fucking. I say, "You're joking." He says, "No, I'm not. But still I wait." Any minute he's going to laugh and say, you should have seen your faces, because this has been a running joke for years, this idea of getting a tattoo.
Totally a joke.
The hard man act. Iron muscles. Shaved head. Jason Statham. Ross Kemp. He's a clever boy. Maybe during his school years he thought a tattoo would balance the geeky glory of academic achievement.
What?
His father says, "Where?" "On my arm," he says, and touches his bicep through his shirt. His lovely shoulder. In the silence he says, "I didn't think you'd be this upset." After a while he says, "It wasn't just a drunken whim. I thought about it. I went to a professional. It cost £150.
Nice.
150.
Also, he's talked about it for a long time, apparently, but
Yeah.
It was just a joke,
Just a joke,
because why would my perfect son want a tattoo?
£150, I think, briefly, of all the things I could buy with £150. Why didn't you give the money to me, son, instead of wasting it on a tattoo? Your only mother.
I could have gotten a haircut with that money.
"It's just a tattoo," he says, when the silence goes on so long that we have nearly fallen over the edge of it into a pit of black nothingness.
Same.
It's not as if I came home and said I got someone pregnant. It seems to me, unhinged by shock, that this might have been the better option. His father asks, "Does it hurt?" "Yes," I say, cutting across this male bonding. "It does. Very much."
What?
For 3 days, I can't speak to my son. I can hardly bear to look at him. I decide this is rational.
It's not. Hints, it's not.
Pro tip. Pro tip for all you moms out there. It's not. The last thing we need, I think, is an explosion of white-hot words that everyone carries around for the rest of their lives engraved on their hearts. In any case, I'm not even sure what it is I want to say. In my mind's eye, I stand there, a bitter old woman with pursed lips wringing my black-gloved hands. He's done the one thing I've said for years. Please don't do this. It would really upset me if you did this. And now it's happened. So there's nothing left to say. We're halfway through, by the way. There's still lots more.
There's nothing left to say. Chapter 2.
I know you can't control what your children do. Why would you want to, anyway? If you controlled what they did, you just pass on your rubbish tip of imperfections. You hope the next generation will be better, stronger, more generous. All you can do as a parent is to pack their bags and wave as you watch them go. So I cry instead. I have a lump in my throat that stops me from eating. I feel as if someone has died. I keep thinking of his skin, his precious skin.
This is weird, like...
Inked like a pig carcass.
What the fuck? She's so, like, obsessed
with his skin.
Yeah.
She wants to wear it like a coat.
Yeah.
I assume.
Like, it's just odd.
Here's the thing. This was written in a newspaper. This is an opinion piece, but it reads like some kind of weird stalker horror film.
Kind of, yeah.
Dude, we're not even halfway done. My neighbor says, there's a lot of it about. So many teenagers are doing it. I stare at pictures of David Beckham with his flowery sleeves, Angelina Jolie, all veins and scrawls. That's a weird way to put it. Tattoos are everywhere. These seem no more alternative than piercings these days. But I still don't understand. Sam Cam with her smudgy dolphin, the heavily tattooed at Royal Ascot. These people are role models?
What?
My niece had doves tattooed on her breasts, says a friend. And her father said, you wait, in a few years' time, there'll be vultures.
What?
That's how tattoos work.
Yeah, they just evolve.
They just evolve, like Pokemon.
Yeah, clearly.
It's the permanence that makes me weep. As if the Joker had made face paints from acid.
What?
You heard me. Your youthful passion forever on display like a CD of the Smiths stapled to your forehead. The British Association of Dermatologists recently surveyed just under 600 patients with visible tattoo versus the invisible tattoos.
Oh, yeah.
That everyone gets. Here, I'll give you 150 pounds. I don't want to see this picture on me.
UV like ink. That'd be pretty rad, though, actually.
It exists. It's really cool. Nearly half of them had been inked between the ages of 18 and 25. And nearly a third of them regretted it.
What if you get a UV ink tattoo of the stamps they give you at, like, Chuck E. Cheese? And you just get in all the time for free.
It's true. That's where the big money is.
And nobody's going to see it.
I look up laser removal.
Oh, boy.
For her son.
Like, hey, I know you want to get this removed, so here, I went ahead and researched it for you.
I look up laser removal, which is a possibility. I think, miserably. That only works if you want a tattoo removed. And I'm not in charge here.
No.
My son is.
Exactly.
My husband asks, have you seen it yet? I shake my head. Like a child, I'm hoping that if I keep my eyes tightly shut, the whole thing will disappear. Disappear. I had an L there for no reason. Don't mind me, guys. I'm a professional readler. It's his body, he says gently. His choice. But what if he wants to be a lawyer? A lawyer? Or an accountant? He'll be wearing a suit. No one will ever know. And he doesn't want to be a lawyer. Or an accountant. I know. I meet a colleague for lunch. He knew how much it would hurt me, I say, tears running down my face. For years, I've said, don't do it. It's there forever.
Don't.
It's there forever. Even after you've changed your mind about who you are and what you want to look like. You're branded. Like meat.
What?
You know how you tattoo your steak?
Yeah.
And then you eat it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you tattoo your name on it and you go, Trevor Steak. Do not eat.
And then somebody takes a bite out of it and you're like, which one of you fucks? I had that branded specifically so you wouldn't eat it.
It can damage your work prospects. It can turn people against you before you've even opened your mouth. You know, your shoulder tattoo that you have.
Such as your mother.
Yeah. She says, tell him how you feel. But I can't. For a start, I know I'm being completely unreasonable. This level of grief is absurd. He's not dying. He hasn't killed anyone. He hasn't volunteered to fight on behalf of a military dictatorship. But I feel as if a knife is twisting in my guts. I get angry with myself. This is nothing but snobbery, I think. Latent anxiety about the trappings of class, as if my son had deliberately turned his back on a light Victoria sponge and stuffed his face with cheap donuts. Fuck, dude, I'm fucking now. I am aware, too, that I associate tattoos on men with aggression. The kind of arrogant swagger that goes with vest tops, dogs on chains, broken beer glasses.
Nice.
Is this what other women feel? Or perhaps, I think, with an uncomfortable lurch of realization, just what older women feel.
Ooh, that's it.
I stand, a lone Tyrannosaurus, bellowing in a world I don't understand.
Bellowing in a world of peacocks and parrots. The lone Tyrannosaurus has no clue what to do.
Oh, so there's a huge chunk in here where she just goes over the history of tattoos in England. Okay.
Probably leaves out the entirety where lots of cultures used it as like a badge system.
Oh, one second.
An honor system of some sort.
This is just British history.
Yeah. Which... Like Maori chiefs and shit who like have to have everything below their chest tattooed.
The ancient Celts, the Picts
like Vikings
and stuff.
Even.
Yeah. On day 3, still in a fog of misery, I say to him, "Shall we talk?" We sit down with cups of coffee. I open my mouth to speak and end up crying instead. I say, "You couldn't have done anything to hurt me more." He is cool and detached. He says, "I think you need to re-examine your prejudices."
Yeah.
I think, but I have. I've done nothing else for 3 days. But I don't say that, because we aren't really talking to each other. These are rehearsed lines, clever insults flung across the dispatch box.
That's not an insult.
This is what comes of not exploding in anger in the heat of the moment. You have a conversation like two adults.
Me crying at the mere thought of talking about a tattoo. Rehearsed insult. I was just tossing it out there.
I say, why couldn't you have waited until you left home? Why now, when you're living here half the year?
Why did you force me to look at it?
She hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah, I know.
It's something I'd been thinking about for a long time. There didn't seem to be any reason to wait, which makes it worse. I'm an adult, he says. I paid for it with my own money. Money I earned. But we're supporting you as well, I think. As far as I know, you don't have separate bank accounts for your various income streams, so who knows, maybe we paid for it. If you don't want to see it, that's fine, he says. When I'm at home, I'll cover it up. Your house, your rules. In my head, I think, I thought it was your house too.
Oh no.
He says, I'm upset that you're upset, but I'm not going to apologize. I don't want you to apologize, I say. A lie. Groveling self-abasement might help. He says, I'm the same person. I look at him, sitting there, my 21-year-old son. I feel like I'm being interviewed for a job I don't even want. I say, but you're not. You're different. I'll never look at you in the same way again. It's a visceral feeling. This is my favorite part, by the way.
Okay.
Maybe because I'm your mother. All those years of looking after your body, taking you to the dentist.
Oh my god.
Making you drink milk, and worrying about leafy green vegetables, and sunscreen, and cancer from mobile phones. And then you let some stranger inject ink under your skin. To me, it seems like self-mutilation. If you'd lost your arm in a car accident, I would have understood. I would have done everything to make you feel better. But this is desecration. And I hate it.
Okay, so if he loses an arm in an accident, that's okay. What if he decided to cut it off himself? Would that have been better than getting the tattoo?
I don't know if that counts as desecration, so probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Statistically, yes. We look at each other. There seems nothing left to say. Over the next few days, my son, always covered up, talks to me as if the row had never happened. I talk to him, too, but warily, because I'm no longer sure I know him.
Fuck.
And this is when I realized that all my endless self-examination was completely pointless. Yes. Yeah. Correct. What I think or don't think about tattoos is irrelevant.
Correct.
Because this is the point. Tattoos are fashionable. They may even be beautiful. But deciding to have a tattoo, My son took a meat cleaver to my apron strings.
What what does that even mean?
Holding on by the apron strings is like a term about like, being close to your mother and that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
So basically,
yeah.
he was a mama's boy, got a tattoo, and now she's heartbroken.
Okay, yeah.
He may not have wanted to hurt me. I hope he didn't. But my feelings as he made his decision were completely unimportant.
Yes.
The stars are not wanted now. Put out every one. Pack up the moon. And dismantle the sun.
The fuck?
I am redundant. And that's a legitimate cause for grief. I think.
I think the worst part about this is that a newspaper decided to publish it.
Yeah.
So she probably uses that as a way to validate her feelings.
Oh, absolutely. I personally think the worst part of this is the fact that it is, like, fairly well written.
That too.
Like, if it would have been the scrawlings of a mad woman, I would have been like, oh, sick, yeah, I understand this.
Yeah.
But instead it's, like, actual, like, full sentences, and it ends with a shitty poem and stuff.
Yeah.
Some things in there, like the whole Tyrannosaurus thing.
Little weird.
A little weird. But so is the rest of it.
I don't understand why people have a thing against tattoos. Like, I get it if it's like a gang thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, look, I'm part of this.
Or racist,
cool
or
gang. Yeah.
offensive for the sake of being offensive, or something like that. But I don't get it. For somebody who claims to have done like 3 days worth of self-reflection, she
clearly
changed
nothing.
She changed nothing. She did all this research, changed nothing. No thought went into this. I'm going to give this one. I'm going to rate this one. You know what?
We're doing it now.
I'm going to rate this 6 out of 10.
Nice. Why?
It was well written, but it's bullshit.
Oh, okay.
And not so bad as to be funny, but too bad for me to enjoy reading it. 6 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you don't like it, you can go fuck yourself. I guess Trevor's going next.
Yeah.
Producer Corey's vaguely gesturing at me like a madman, I'm assuming.
Whoa, dude. You can't just pull back the curtains of production like that.
I can. They need to know. Corey's gesturing at me like one of the differently abled.
Alright. So this next story I have is brought to us from exorbitant shitposting causation on Facebook with no named author. So if you want, you can kind of rummage through there and try and find it and figure out who wrote it, but
Was it you?
it was not me.
Was it you, Corey?
It was not me.
Was it you, reader? Because you could just tell us that it was and we'd have to believe you.
Yeah.
This is your one shot.
Disclaimer, I don't do the things in the story. Please don't clip my voice out to make it sound like I do.
He does.
That's
stuff.
inviting people to do it, but just gonna...
Hey, make sure you don't clip this and use this out of context.
Make sure you don't slander me out of context.
You should, though.
I used to masturbate on the birds at a local park.
Oh, okay.
Not a thing that I'm particularly proud of, but I became quite good at it.
Good for
I
you.
was taking zinc supplements, so I was
Oh, yeah, no, dude, that's a thing.
so I was shooting massive loads.
Yeah.
And it became something of a sport to me, you know, taking shooting clay pigeons to the next level.
It's skeet shooting.
For anyone interested, here is your best strategy. First, you need to find an isolated spot so you don't become a sex offender.
Yeah, so you can kite the boss. you know, when the police officer mini boss shows up, you need to be able to kite around him. Maybe you can get out
Break
of his
line of sight with some trees or bushes.
Yeah, get out of his aggro range and hide in a bush. The programmers really didn't think that part through.
I found a short kind of channel area where I saw the pigeons would congregate. Next, you arouse yourself. I was usually content with envisioning the occasional jogging lady coming over and taking a shit on my chest, and that was enough to fuel the fire. But if you're not as sexually charged as me, just take some porn on the go.
Oh, that's where all those bush porns come from. You know, there's just the tatters of porns that people leave in the parks.
Yeah. After you're good and horny, you get some bread.
Wait a minute. Couldn't I have gotten the bread first? Before I had a massive throbbing erection?
No, you have to do... This is a strategy you need to follow.
Shit, sorry. Go ahead, Prima.
Because if you grab the bread first, the cops can
tell.
They can tell. They know.
They can smell it.
They can smell the chafe from between your dick and your hands on the bread.
Ooh. So can the pigeons, presumably. So they'll just stay away.
My pigeons preferred white bread, but healthier birds may have a taste for honey wheat or maybe even multigrain. Fat, unhealthy birds are slower and easier to hit, so remember that. Once you were seated on the bench and ready to do the deed...
Wait, I thought I was hiding in a bush so people wouldn't see me.
Wait,
you're telling me I'm just jerking it on the bench looking at birds?
Yeah, in a river channel. You know, so imagine a picturesque river from one of your Japanese animes.
Oh,
where the main character meets the girl.
Some of the Malaysian cartoons?
Yes.
Okay.
So once you are ready to do the deed, whip your Roosevelt out and scatter bread out within a few feet of you. Use your judgment based on how far you know you can come.
Huh.
I was a lonely and depraved soul who could hit targets the size of a thimble at distances up to 4 feet.
Okay.
You wait for the pigeons to begin eating and to get comfortable with your presence. At this point, you want to coo gently and talk sensually to them to gain their trust. Now you're finally ready to come on your bird. This is the tough part because the rapid motion of masturbation is very frightening to the birds, so you have to be subtle. Once you master a technique, you simply wind it up and let it go.
Oh, like taming a horse in Breath of the Wild. You just you sneak up behind it and you just
jump on
it.
Aiming, depending on your past coming experiences. I always came high, so I would aim for the neck of the bird and catch it right in the face. It's an extremely satisfying and erotic feeling seeing those birds reel around covered in cum, and maybe even transporting it to other places in the city. He's like a fucking plant and the birds are bees and he's like, go pollinate my children.
Dude, no. The best part is him dialing in the sights. Oh shit, now it's 15 degrees off. I gotta keep track for next time.
Should I bring a spotter?
God, is it like a sniper? Do you need a separate person to check the wind and be like, you need to move 5 degrees if you're gonna hit it?
I guess once you find a partner, you can bring them along and they could be your spotter.
It's how you know you found the one.
Yeah. Either way, I haven't done it in years. But every now and then, I catch myself gazing wistfully at a flock of birds, cock throbbing and waiting for them to land close to me. The end.
Wouldn't it be easier to come on multiple birds at once, like just a scatter shot, instead of aiming specifically to give a bird pink eye?
I mean, I guess it depends on how you jizz, right?
Scatter shot, just... I mean, if I'm
sprinkler.
It's like a blunderbuss.
I assume if you're this into it, you have some kind of weird attachments or something, so you could just put a fine film on there so it sprays out. You know, like they do for
no, you just put
spritzer bottles.
You put a condom on it, you poke a bunch of holes in it, so it's like a salt shaker, and then when you come in it.
Also, if it's just about
like a shower head.
If it's just about getting cum on the birds, I could come in a condom and then just throw it at them like a water balloon. Does that count? Will that get the job done?
I mean,
Trevor,
you'd need a lot of cum in like a water balloon, because if you put it in a condom, it's probably not going to pop. I've seen videos where they fill condoms with liters of water.
Yeah, but I don't know. Do you know what, Trevor? You are the one who just talked about your weird obsession, so I am going to just.
No.
Yeah.
It wasn't me.
It was all in the first person too, so we know it's you.
I know. Fuck.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in now with what you've all been waiting for.
Oh shit.
Chapter 3.
This is it.
From His Blood and Tears by Bookser from 1500.
My favorite.
Chapter 3. The Ministry. Disclaimer. I don't own the characters you recognize. Cries because I don't own Draco. To Flower 123. I'm so glad you like my story. to currently crazy. I'm sorry. I had to get off, or I would have posted more. I'm glad it had to get off onto a bird.
Yeah, okay.
Or I would have posted more. I'm glad you like how Harry's parents came back. Don't know how or where I got the idea. Period. LOL. Period.
It's like when old people on Facebook, they always end their sentences with like 5 periods.
Yeah.
LOL. 5 periods. It's just like, why? What's the point?
This chapter is dedicated to my friend who wishes to remain anonymous because she had to go a whole day without talking about her beloved Snape to prove that she wasn't obsessed with him. Chapter 3! Exclamation point.
Okay.
Harry couldn't stop thinking about his sister while he was outside the minister's office waiting for his parents to get out of the office so that they could go back to the Weasleys, where they would be staying till the Potters got one of the many houses fixed enough for human inhabitants. Many of the houses had not seen a human in over a decade. Of course, the houses had house elves, but no one knew how they would have reacted to 14 years of being without a master. We do know. That was in like book 6, wasn't it?
That wasn't out at the time of writing.
That's true. Oh, that's a good point. Oh man, they're really sniping the future here with all this shit.
That was actually in book 5, which I think is the exact timeline of when Book Surfer 1500 started. Because I'm gonna say she because somebody writing fanfic, and that's just immediately what I put.
Especially
in my
Harry
head.
Potter fanfic,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Actually, here's also My Immortal has ruined
Yes,
all other
yes.
fan. It's all Ebony, Darkness, Dementia, Raven, White. Anyway, she actually book 5 had come out because she sent this in between book 4 and 5 because she doesn't like Harry in book 5.
Oh right.
Remember? So she's definitely read
So
it.
she's read book 5. Book 5 is when they introduced Creature.
Yeah, she's just a dumb.
So she knows.
She's just a dumb
She's
idiot.
just bad.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Corey.
Yeah, no problem.
Check your lore facts, author.
Yeah. Harry couldn't believe that no one had told him about Tally. Shouldn't Sirius have said something? Or Dumbledore? Or even Hagrid? I feel bad. Even Hagrid. Even Hagrid. Fuck you.
It's not good enough
Not
to
good
just be
enough.
listed normally.
Acting like he's some bumbling oaf. Harry had learned from his mum. Well, they had been waiting for the minister to get ready to see them. Wait a minute. They go to the Ministry of Magic and just immediately see the Prime Minister of the country.
Yeah, 2 dead people walk in and they're like, "We want to see the Prime Minister." And
Yeah,
he's
alright,
like,
sure.
"Okay, sure."
Alright, cool. Fair. Touche. They're only the members of a group that fought Voldemort and Death Eaters called the Order of the Phoenix. Author's note. Remember, he doesn't know about them yet.
Alright.
Had know about Tally's birth so that she would be safe from Voldemort. Tally had been born a month early and had been a sick baby. Totally radical.
Nice.
The doctors hadn't expected her to live a week after being born, but she had survived. She had been only 4 months old when Lily and James had died. Wasn't Harry like 9 months old?
Harry was just over a year old.
I feel... So 4 months.
So that would have meant
So
that
she's
they
she's a preemie. A month premature.
yeah.
That's why she's such a sick baby.
came out with sunglasses.
Came out on a scooter, backwards, baseball cap, smoking
Mountain Dew
3
shirt.
cigarettes.
Sick.
The minister's office door opened and out stepped Harry's parents, and they walked to the door so that they could separate back to the Weasleys. "What did he say about Sirius?" Harry asked, as they passed multiple doors. James gave a sigh. He wasn't very happy about it, but I got him to put a notice in the Daily Prophet. He put his arm around his son and held his wife's hand. By tomorrow, all the wizarding world will know that Sirius Black is a free man. "What about Peter Pettigrew?" Harry asked with a yawn. That's right, that's Foley work. You're welcome. "He'll be considered a runaway prisoner. The Dementors will be searching for him," Lily said. "And tomorrow's paper will also be announcing that your father and I are back." Weird, okay.
Yeah, everybody needs to know.
Yeah. Lily first apparated, and then James did side-along apparition with Harry. When they got back to the burrow, Lily saw Harry yawn, and the motherly instincts came on in a flash. "You're going to bed, Harry," Lily said. "But it's only 11, Harry complained. Harold James Potter. That doesn't sound good.
No, I don't
Harold?
like
Harold Potter.
it.
Oh. I mean,
And it's canon that his first name is Harry, and Harry is not short for
no,
anything.
it's just Harry.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Harold James
Does
Potter.
that mean that Tally's full name is
Tally. Talladega Nights.
Talbot?
It's Talladega Nights. If you're not in bed in 15 min, no Quidditch for a week, Lily said. Lily, you cannot take Quidditch from a Potter, James said. Yeah, Lily, that's like taking Hogwarts from Dumbledore, Sirius said from the couch.
Ooh.
Harry has been through... they spelled it wrong.
Uh-oh.
Like throwing a ball.
Nice.
Harry has been through too much today. He is going to bed now, Lily said in a motherly voice. You are not his mother, James, and neither are you, Sirius.
Yeah, you're only his dad.
I am, so I know what's best for Harry.
Is Harry's mom just Tess from the tattoo
I
store?
think so. Wow, maybe. Shit. So 12 minutes later, Harry and Ron were getting into their beds in Ron's room when Lily came in. If Molly Weasley had wanted to tuck Ron into bed and kiss his forehead, Ron would have gone ballistic. But Harry didn't mind his own mum kissing his forehead and tucking him in. He had missed so many things in his childhood and would take anything offered by his parents, even if it would have flustered or annoyed most boys his age. The last thought on Harry's mind before he fell asleep was that he hoped it wasn't a dream.
Oh,
It's the end.
how sweet.
That's the end. That nothing. This was a nothing chapter.
Nice. It was like the filler chapter.
Yeah. Join us for fuck off. Chapter 4. Breakfast at the Burrow.
Nice. The breakfast chapter.
Breakfast chapter.
It's my favorite.
It's yeah.
So our next story is from r/writing prompts. The prompt was given by the user an OK Sin. A new recreational drug kills its users before bringing them back to life 3 to 5 minutes later. Each user always wakes up in a blissful state with no memories of their time during death. You just woke up after 15 minutes of death. You remember, and you have to warn people about this drug. And our submission is going to be from Seraphim9120.
Are you warning them that it fucking kills you? Because I think they know.
I don't know, maybe it's just like what happens while you're dead, because it says you remember what happens.
Angel blowjobs.
From Seraphim
Seraphim.
9120.
Yeah, dude.
Checks out. My eyelids fluttered, dimmed lights reaching my eyes. My eyes fully opened, and within a second, I sat upright. Looked at the clock. 15 minutes had passed since I let the IV line drip the navy blue substance into my veins. Bliss, they called it. And it gave you exactly that. Scientists were baffled because they could not determine how it works.
What? Then how could you make it?
Well, they don't know how it works. It just
does.
works.
Also, oh man, you know all those cool street drugs that you have to hook up an IV bag and lay in bed for a while for it to kick in?
Yeah. All of them.
Oh, sorry, you're right.
Especially marijuana.
You're right. Shit, it's legal in Canada. I should know this.
After its use became widespread, studies were performed and it was deemed safe, even though you died when you consumed it. Being resurrected shortly after, normally within 5 minutes of consumption. Now, it had taken me 15 minutes to awaken. I wasn't a regular user, so I wasn't used to its effects. But I knew what I was supposed to feel, bliss. But instead, I felt utter dread. You know the quote, when you stare into the abyss long enough, the abyss stares back? I felt as if I had taken a short glance at the abyss, and the abyss had performed a thorough search of my very soul. I closed my eyes as the lights started to cause a headache. What had I seen? After the IV had started running, my eyes closed and I felt my consciousness slip away. Something got different. I wasn't supposed to remember things. I was supposed to open my eyes 5 minutes after starting the IV and experience a feeling of ultimate bliss. But as I closed my eyes, I could remember what had happened to me after I fell asleep. My consciousness slipped. Before my inner eyes, I lifted off the ground and through the roof. Before my eyes, I saw myself turn towards Antarctica. But Antarctica was different than I know it from satellite pictures.
I know Antarctica personally. Something was off.
I study those satellite pictures very thoroughly.
I know every fjord.
Every fjord, every hill, every knoll. There were mountains. Mountains nobody could have seen before. My flight halted over a plateau. My train of thought stalled, and my heart skipped several beats.
You were dead.
They were already dead.
You're dead. There's no... No. My heart skipped beats. You're dead. You do not have a heart to skip beats.
True. Okay, yeah. Critical error.
0 out of 10.
On this plateau in the middle of Antarctica, there were gigantic buildings. Ruined, but still gigantic. Then I was flung downwards through cellars into tunnels, ending up in a cave. Again, my heart stopped. Human language is ill-suited to describe what I saw. Beings that looked somewhat like huge blobs of slime with bubbles making their way through them.
That wasn't so hard.
Eyes forming and disappearing on the skin. And there were humans. They wore robes of unknown design and tapped IV lines like those I knew from blood donations into beings. The liquid they extracted into the bags was of a deep navy blue. My eyes tore open. I started gagging. What were they planning? I need to tell someone. Flashed through my head. But who? Who would believe me?
President.
I opened my laptop, opened up Reddit, scrolled through the list of all subreddits. There it was. r/Cthulhu exposed. This was the place where I would start telling the world about what I had seen.
Is that just a subreddit of naughty pics of Cthulhu?
I'll check.
Alright, cool.
You must be 18 plus to view this community.
Oh, fuck yeah. Am I right? Is it just sexy
Not
Cthulhu?
safe for work.
Oh, it is.
Yes, it is a miniature with a Cthulhu dick.
Yes! I fucking knew it.
There you go. You can look at it.
Oh, man.
Viewers at home, you cannot look at it.
Oh, hell yeah. Guys, just look it up for yourself. It's well worth it. Also, I am Nostradamus. I can see the future.
1 subscriber. There's 9 people looking at it right now.
They're all Cthulhu.
And the only link to it is probably this very post.
Oh, man. I'm going to subscribe.
I like this story simply for the Cthulhu exposed.
So far, so good?
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Was that all of it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay.
So there may have been some, I guess, like, oversights with the heart stuff.
Some biological errors.
Yeah.
Some small plot holes.
Overall, I feel like they made up with those biological errors with the Cthulhu, but the Cthulhu biology. Which
It's
seemed
true.
pretty on point.
What the hell? I have many questions. And the problem is I will get no answers to these.
No, dude. It's an elder god. You can't,
No,
no one
no.
can comprehend it.
No, I think my favorite thing is human words. You can't describe what I'm seeing. And then describes it in a sentence. And I'm like, oh man, you're right. Fuck. Ooh,
But that
was
wasn't
tough.
doing it justice.
How do you know? Maybe that's exactly what they looked like. Big blobs. Also, how do you get an IV line in a blob? Wouldn't it just pop?
You just jab it in. Anywhere, really.
I mean, I get
It just works.
It just works. Fuck, you're right. That's something I just have to focus on more. Is
It just works.
It just works.
Suspension of disbelief
It just
is
works.
required.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in here with another writing prompt from Reddit. Writing prompt. You've been magically gifted the ability to speak all languages. Anything you say comes out in the first language of whoever you're looking at. One day, try to greet someone in the street. They gape in horror as ancient, unknowable eldritch sounds exit your... Oh, there's a theme. Exit your mouth. The ground shakes. Ellipses.
Oh, shit.
This is posted by Giant O'Nail.
Giant toenail?
No, there's only one T.
Oh.
It's either Giant O'Nail or it's giant toenail.
Okay, nice.
So it's a giant o-nail.
Okay.
That famous Irish giant we all know of. The giant o-nail. Diddly-do, potatoes. Okay, so this is written by Cam Pie. 9 hours ago from the time of recording. Let's date this. Everyone can look back. Know for sure. I took a sip of my coffee as I looked out through the side window of the boat. The sweet... Is he just gonna look at Cthulhu and be like, "Hey, bud, you know,
I see you.
I see you." The sweet and salty scent of seawater foaming across the sides. How much further? I asked the helmsman without turning my gaze from the ocean. Sunlight teasing its arrival through the morning fog. "Deh?" you replied. I turned to look at him, making sure I could see his eyes. "Deh, Braddock?" I repeated. "Thasin and Crocodile." "That depends," he said in Gaelic. It was a language I didn't know a moment ago, but by the look of him now, I knew all there was to know. "Depends on what?" I asked, raising a brow. I knew this wasn't a well-traveled route, but that's the whole reason I was there to begin with. When traveling, it depends usually means the weather. Is the fog that thick? Oh, the fog is no matter. It's up to the island, whether it's out today or not. Also, if speaking Gaelic, it'd be whether it's out today or no. Boo. 0 out of 10 immediately. Classic cultural misappropriation here.
It's okay, we'll have a redemption arc.
Oh, I hope so. What is that supposed to mean? I thought to myself. My thoughts were always in English. Even when I spoke other languages. I knew them as English.
Good note, good note.
It can be an odd sensation to have the words that come out of your mouth be different than what is in your mind, but over the years I've gotten used to it. I looked out over the fog. It was becoming thinner, losing the battle against the sun. It wouldn't be long until I had a nice day on my hands.
Hell yeah. How to get that nice day.
Nice day. I hope it stays like this. Is that it over there? I asked. "Deh." I turned him, looked him in the eyes and repeated in Gaelic. "Aha, you're in luck." I'll be lucky when I got off this boat. What kind of sailor is this? He pulled smoothly into a wooden dock, outstretched into the ocean like a finger reaching for a cookie. A single finger. He showed...
Also, why does he hate the guy now?
No, he hates the boat.
Oh.
And the guy's a bad sailor. Because of that grammatical error where he said whether it's out today or not instead of whether... I get it. I'm right there with you. Like a finger reaching for a cookie. He showed that he had the skill. But did he have the mind? I didn't want to test it. But he was the only one willing to bring me out here. I collected my suitcases and leaped off the side. I'll come back for the next week or so. Same time as now. If I don't see you by then I'll assume you don't want to come back. It'll only be a day or two, I said, making sure to look him in the eyes. He gave me an odd look, almost as if he was amused. It was a small village. Huts with thatched roofs. Roofs? That feels weird to say. Roofs? Roof with an S. I'm assuming that's how you spell it. I haven't seen it enough somehow. Producer Corey is saying yes, like I'm the idiot here. A brick well in the center. Women, if aprons, moving about with purpose. It was like the 21st century missed this place. It seemed as if they all stopped for a brief moment in unison to look at the newcomer. But just as quick, they were back to their duties. Is he entering some weird NPC town?
This reminds me of a movie I saw recently on Netflix.
If you say Bird Box and leave
It's not. No. I forget what it was called now, though. But the premise of it is that this dude's sister was kidnapped.
The Apostle.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. My fiance's really into horror movies.
Yeah.
I'm
not.
not.
I thought it was decent.
It's supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah.
I just don't give a shit personally about it.
That's fair.
I walked through the village, but no one would approach. Still, in an age to be wary of strangers, I suppose. I made sure to give a friendly smile and a wave to any that would acknowledge me. I tried asking if there was somewhere to spend the night, but before I could, they would just point me up the road to where I now stood. It was practically a castle, surrounded by high brick walls and a studded wooden gate. It had what may just have been considered a moat, but I think it was just a drainage ditch. Wow, he's judging real hard, huh?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
You call that a moat?
Peasants.
I leaped off a boat. I can surely leap over this moat.
I lifted the giant iron knocker and slammed it down, echoing like thunder.
When you read that, I imagined a giant iron boob.
Yes, I assume. I assume so as well. A slit in the gate opened to reveal a mouth, chapped lips, and jagged teeth. "What's the password?" it grunted. Password? "You cannot enter without the password," he said, shutting the slit. "Now hang on a moment," I shouted. Surely it was loud enough to be heard through the wood. "I just need somewhere to stay for the night." The slit opened once more, this time revealing jaundiced-looking eyes. They squinted, waiting. "Please?" I said. But this time it wasn't in English. It wasn't in any language I'd ever spoken, heard before. My brain seemed to shake in my skull, my vision blurry. "You know the rules, brother," he hissed angrily. "You'll get us both in trouble," he said as he unlatched the gate. A small door opened, allowing me entrance. Still reeling from what had just happened, I gave nod of thanks and entered the grounds. "You can't be using the words like that. If you're going to stay here, you're going to have to pay." "Pay?" I said as I steadied my feet. One step after another. That's what I had to do. Why was it so hard? How much? "I need about $3.50, he said. That was at about that time that I noticed he was a 3-story tall Leviathan from the Eldritch Horror period. God damn it. Goddamn Loch Ness Monster.
What?
What's the problem here?
That's so good.
It's a good story. A lot of grammatical errors with that. A couple actual misspellings. Some spliced commas. 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10?
4 out of 10. No, you're right. I have to give it about a 3.50.
Yeah, I was like, come on, you can't just...
I can tease them like that. How else are they going to come back if not for great
3.75.
I give it about 4.
Is the Loch Ness Monster an eldritch abomination, though?
I mean, isn't it?
I guess it could be.
Do you know what? You're asking the question, now the burden of proof is on you. If the internet's taught me anything, it's that whoever asks the question has to find their own answer. Or, in other words, look it up, sweaty. I don't have time. Find your own answers. Producer Corey's looking it up. There's not going to be an answer.
Google says no.
Oh. Well, there you have it.
There's no results.
It just
popped
no.
up in a full page. No. God, this is a weird conspiracy.
Yeah.
Everyone get on it.
All right. I got the story that we've all been waiting for when I teased skeletons earlier. This is from r/shitty-no-sleep by our very good friend who we do not know at all.
I'd like
Seriously. You should
Honestly.
message us so that we can get to know you because you seem like a pretty cool dude.
Getting to know you. Getting to know all about you.
This is from Skelecare. Skeleton making a ton of rice in my kitchen at 2 a.m. 113. 1. Back away from the screen. Turn back now unless you want a scare. So I woke up this morning and I can't believe what I saw. Now I warn you, this sight gave me a mighty fright. and it may make you feel queasy to hear this tale retold. So if you're eating something, producer Corey with his Pop-Tarts, especially if you're eating rice, I would suggest you click away now.
Turn it down.
11111.
Shut it all down.
Tilde.
Wait.
I don't know how I'm supposed to pronounce it. Tilde.
Oh, the wiggly lines?
Oh, yeah. One.
Oh, wow.
I rubbed my eyes, trying to get the sleep out of them. Bone? Are you a skeleton? Indeed. There was a bones in my friggin' kitchen.
Oh, shit.
And what's worse, this skeleton didn't have pants on.
What?
Steam rose from a pot on the stove, and I saw Bones take a bite of what he was cooking.
Wait a minute. Hold up. I have questions.
Okay.
Two questions.
Mm-hmm.
One, are all skeletons named Bones? Because he also referred to the skeleton in the last week's episode as Bones.
At the end of that story, though, didn't he follow him?
No.
So maybe they're like, no?
No. They went their separate ways after he said...
No, that was Ancient Bone, though.
Oh, that was Ancient Bone, because a skelly like him don't need no one tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is just Bone.
No, he's just a regular
His
Bone.
ancestor. It's Ancient Bone's ancestor.
No.
Just Bone.
Descendant.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
That one.
That.
I went the wrong way.
That's fine.
Okay. They're roommates.
I don't think that's true. Oh, wait.
Squatter. Squatter's right.
He also does know that the skeleton owns pants because it's an affront that he's not wearing them.
Exactly.
It's like when I used to live with producer Corey and he'd just walk around half naked all the time. It was a real problem.
That is absolutely not true.
It's like when I used to live with producer Corey and he left peanut butter handprints on the fridge because he was too drunk.
That one is true.
He was cooking rice. I couldn't believe it. A Bones making rice in my house at 2 a.m? This Skella hadn't even added the calcium yet. And I was beginning to worry this Bones had mistook the whiteness of rice for milk or something.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah. You know, rice to milk.
Yeah. They make rice milk.
They make, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's why he was confused.
Fair.
He's just trying to skip the process and go straight to the rice.
Bones, no, I said, approaching the Skella. Bones didn't even seem to notice me and kept on cooking like a kooky skeleton of weirdness and scary.
Skeletons don't have ears. Maybe that's the problem.
Maybe.
Because
yeah.
Ancient Bones ignored him last week as well.
True. Yeah, maybe he just can't speak to them because they don't have no ears.
They ain't got no ear.
I had to tap on this Skella's thick cranium to get a Bone to notice me. Bones, no, I repeated, a little more firmly this time. It's late, and as much as I like seeing a Bone in the kitchen, you can't eat rice and expect your bones to grow strong. And the burner on my stove, Bones. It's a gas stove. Don't you worry, you'll catch fire. The fire department won't come here for an errant Bones cooking when he shouldn't be. Come on, big B.O. Bess.
Wait, what?
B.O.
Yeah.
Bess.
B.O. Bess.
B.O.B.E.S.
Bobus.
But it's 3 separate words.
B.O. Bess? Alright.
Yeah. This is elementary Bones stuff. I am sure you were taught in Bones school as a mini Skella.
I bone, you bone, he, she bone is basic boneology.
Need to eat calcium. Need to eat. This Bone trailed off and kept stirring this pot of rice, which by now was fiercely bubbling and actually almost scarier than the skeleton. What with the risk of burning the rice and all. I wasn't getting through to this lesser skeleton at all, unfortunately.
Oh. That's racist.
Lesser skeleton.
Lesser skeleton?
Jesus Christ.
Jesus. Maybe we can't read this guy's stuff anymore. That's offensive.
You're going to have to bleep that one out, producer Corey. Bones, no. You need to get out of my kitchen. I'll make you something in the morning, I say, turning off the stove and grabbing the Skella by the hand and leading a bone away. Here, there's a nice pit in the backyard you can sleep in. Take my spare key and come back inside in the morning.
Oh, okay. Alright, to get back in.
Yeah, he's being hospitable.
Yeah.
Responding well to my direction, this bone held my key and looked around confused for a moment before smiling at me and nodding.
Wait a minute. How can skeletons smile? Aren't they permanently smiling? Isn't that the whole thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe it was like he like gaped his mouth a little bit to be like...
Don't say gape. That is
he
weird.
ajarred his mouth.
Okay. There we go. Opened.
No, I'm trying to be more storytellery with my word choice.
Sorry, my mistake.
Good bones, I say, leading a Skella outside and tucking him in with some white sheets and a few teaspoons of milk powder. Sleep tight, bone.
What?
And that was Tahi's story of how I took this boon situation and diffused it. Hopefully Skella and myself make a good compromise. Not like I want a bones on my bad side. Knowing how many Skellas there are following me around and how quick they are to talk amongst themselves and share Skella rumors, this has been a story of Cthulhu, skeleton care. The end.
I have many questions once again. What is the milk powder for?
For the calcium.
Yeah, but you can't eat it if you just sprinkle it on him. What's he supposed to do? Scrape it off himself?
It just
like a pore?
absorbs through osmosis.
I don't think that's how calcium works.
Well, he was trying to get his calcium from the rice, right? So he was low on it, so he was like, I'll just sprinkle this on you real quick.
Sprinkle some milk powder on you and walk
Well,
away.
because, like, if he drinks milk, it's about the equivalent of having calcium powder sprinkled on him anyway.
No, it goes in his skeleton.
Yeah, but you can sprinkle it in through his ribs.
Yeah, if you want to invade his privacy, that's...
Well, he already invaded the author's privacy by going into his home at 3 in the morning.
Pretty sure that's...
to cook rice.
Sexual bone assault. Also, are Skella rumors different than regular rumors because they really get to the bone of the problem?
Yes.
Is it because they have a bone to pick?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, I think that does it for us here on Reader of the Unread, reading your bad garbage and other stuff we find. Some of it was okay today.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. I hated the woman who wrote the first story, but it was well written, and you know what? Props.
Yeah.
The rest of it is the normal dregs that we find for bad comedy, but...
The skeleton stories will always have a special place in my heart.
So good. Bones! But yeah, I think that does it. I'm here to shamelessly plug everything else. You can catch Trevor and I, along with producer Corey, our friend Tyler, and occasionally an extra guest, over on Trash Pit, which is the other podcast on the network right now. Speaking of which, you can find all of this on SoundCloud / TF Radio, I believe is what we had, because Trash Fire Radio is, of course, taken, as all good things are. We are now officially launched, so you can see us on there. I know we're trying to slowly get it pushed onto iTunes and other weird stuff, so you can listen to it wherever podcasts are sold. Hopefully, quote unquote, don't hold us to that. Our producer is very lazy, and he's warding off evil right now, and he's blessing his PC with garlic holy water. It's a whole thing. What else can I plug? We have a new Facebook group. I think that's just opening up, which is @Trashfire Radio. You can message us on there if you don't want to send us emails. The email is, of course, as it always is, trashfireradio@gmail.com, which please send us stories, comments, concerns, criticisms. If you guys start sending criticisms and stuff, I will also read them on here.
I'm cool with that.
Along with any corrections. Maybe you're mad at me because I said mum wrong, or maybe you're mad at me because I don't appreciate bones like I should. think that's everything for plugs, unless Trevor, do you want to plug your stream, huh? Oh, let's do that.
Twitch TV/Tooples, TOOPLES. I'm mostly playing Monster Hunter World and Slay the Spire right now. I'm looking to just do variety shit, so that's up in the air for however long.
He's so lonely. He has like
Please
like
send help.
3 followers. It's sad.
15.
Oh shit! Never. Oh fuck.
But it's all
Shit,
people
never
I know
mind.
personally, with the exception of one person.
But yeah, but he's the cool guy.
He was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I think that's everything. Until next time, I'll bone you later.